Hi everyone, I am so excited. It's Thursday and this is probably gonna be the last time I'm broadcasting from my house because I start school next week. My first day of school is Tuesday. That's when students come. Tomorrow we have professional development, and then Monday we get to be in our classrooms, which is super hard, right? When we have to go to all of this like professional development stuff when we really just really need to be in our classrooms. If you're here, tell me in the comments when your first day of school is. And if you're new to the group, I'm Amanda from amandarightnow.com. I'm the one that created the group, and I really, really appreciate everyone who's been just interacting and adding comments. And I know that you're all busy and just taking the time to share what you're doing the first day of school and the first week of school. It's so helpful and inspiring. And so I really appreciate those of you who are, just taking the time to share what you're doing. And I know it can help a lot too, to bounce ideas off of each other. And I know there's a lot of teachers out there that plan by talking, and I'm one of them. So this group can really help when we have each other to kind of bounce ideas off of. But it can also be overwhelming because I don't know about you, but I feel like, there are maybe people who feel like, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? But there's also so many ideas and you don't know which one to pick, which one the best one is, and you want it all to go really well. And I feel like the first day of school is way too hyped up. It's insanity. So I'm starting my 13th year. This will be my 13th year teaching. I need to see how I can read your comments because I see there's 4 people here, but I can't see any comments. So I'm just gonna I don't know how to see comments. If you're here, tell me in the comments you're here. Maybe I can see once people type. I don't know. I'm using Ecamm Live, which I still get confused by sometimes. Okay, so what was I just saying? I can't even remember. Oh, so years and years and years, I feel like I just hyped that first day up and spent way too many hours planning that first day, which is ridiculous because it's only an hour, and unless you're teaching elementary, then it's the whole day, which I did teach elementary for 8 years. And okay, I see a thumb up. Thank you for the thumbs up. And so in elementary, I feel like elementary is the hardest type of teaching to me. So I taught elementary for 8 years, and I've taught middle school for 4, right? Does that add up? And I don't know. I haven't been to school at all this week. I didn't go today. I actually went shopping. I went to Kohl's, which was really fun, and I was proud of myself. Because it is tempting to spend a lot of time in the classroom decorating, preparing, just overworking ourselves. And I don't if you know me, I like to keep things simple. So those of you who are here today, I'm just going to tell you how I keep things simple. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I think are the most important things to do the first day of school. Okay. So there are 3 things. 3 things. That's it. And you don't even have to be done decorating your room the first day of school. In my opinion, your room does not have to be ready the first day of school. Your kids will understand. They'll be fine. They'll love you even if your room is not all cutesy. I know it because my room isn't cutesy. I think a lot. So was it last year? I took the cabinet doors off my cabinet. You can actually go watch my Instagram story about taking the cabinet doors off all the cabinets in my room. And I kind of got in trouble for that last year. And I made it a class library because it was built in bookshelves. And I think a lot of people are I love your room, but it really isn't me. It's just all the books look really nice. And I have a nice classroom. That's not me, it's the building. But the decorations, I don't really have much. I have like a couple of bouncy chairs, a rug, and some lights. I don't even do like, I think it's weird that we cover up our bulletin boards with paper. Like, why do we do that? I don't get it. I don't get the borders. Like, why? I mean, no offense if any of you are putting up, I think 99% of teachers put up borders and put like construction paper or whatever that paper is. What's it called? I don't remember. Over their bulletin boards. But like, our classrooms have really nice looking bulletin boards. Like, why are we covering them up? And actually, I'm keeping mine blank because I want my kids to use them. So I want my kids to use tacks and Post-its and paper and use the bulletin space in my room to brainstorm ideas and to like plan out stories and plan out articles. And I'm going to try makerspace and writing workshop and combining them this year. So I'm not doing a lot of decorating. So, okay, what are the 3 things you should do the first day of school? Okay, so the first thing, it's so important to introduce yourself. I mean, that's kind of duh, right? So I actually have a slideshow that I'm going to share with everyone in the group. I'm going to give you a copy of it. So you're going to have to like change it and stuff because there's like pictures of me and there's things about me. But I'm going to share a slideshow with you that I use. I don't usually teach with slideshows, but I'll put in the comments this slideshow and I'm going to show you it. I'm going to share my screen in a second. But I talk about myself. I tell my students, like I show them pictures, I talk about my family, I talk about my experience teaching, and I talk about like what I did over the summer. And I talk about how like my passions, things that I'm passionate about. I talk about my website and that I love writing and reading. Of course, I'm an English teacher. And so I just do like a little spiel and I say, you're going to have a great year in this class. And I'm sure you all have heard of the First Days of School book by Harry Wong. He talks a lot about how like you want your kids to feel safe in your classroom, and you got to speak loud and confident, and like look at them in the eye and just introduce yourself and be yourself. So that's the first thing. Like that's what you have to do. Like that's the first thing you do. Like that's it. And that's like takes like 5 minutes, right? And my slideshow has like pictures and like my passions, and I'll show it to you in a second. And actually, maybe I should just show it to you. Well, let me tell you the 3 things. So introduce yourself, and then there's 5 important routines you need to tell them immediately, in my opinion. And I'll tell you the 5 routines. So you need to teach them these 5 routines. It's really important to teach these 5 routines like right away because they're all going to be wondering these 5 things. And I'm going to tell you in a second. And I call them frequently asked questions. So I don't say, okay, everyone, let's talk about the routines of this class today. Like I'm not going to introduce myself and then start talking about routines. I'm going to say, you know what, before I go any further, you're probably wondering a couple of things. So I'm going to answer a few questions that I'm sure are in your heads right now about our class. And I'll tell you what those 5 things are in a second. And so that's the second thing. So introduce yourself, and make them feel comfortable and help them get to know you a little bit. Teach them the frequently asked questions, and then do something fun, like a community building activity. Either play a game or do some sort of creative activity. And the What's Up Wednesday from yesterday, there's a lot of really good ideas in that comment stream that you all should go check out. And I have a blog post that I'm going to share in the comments here too, with a bunch of activities to pick from in terms of game and a creative activity to do. And that's it. Like, those are the 3 things I believe that we should be accomplishing the first day of school. And then all those other great ideas that are overwhelming you, save them for tomorrow. Save them for, the second day of school or the third day of school or the 4th day of school. And like all those other routines, you want to build up to like the class contract and like the rules and the expectations, and because they're going to be angels the first day of school. You know that, right? Like, I think if it's your first year of teaching, there's going to be a honeymoon period. Your kids are going to be really, really sweet, usually. Like if they're not the first day, I don't know, you're going to need support. You're going to need support from your admin, from other teachers, from this Facebook group, from me. Feel free to email me. Like, what would you do in this situation, Amanda? And I'm like more than happy to tell you. I'm very opinionated. Okay, so let me share my screen real quick so I can show this slideshow, and I'll show you those 5 routines that I think we should all be talking about the first day of school, because our kids are wondering about these things. They're like, but what about this? What about this? Okay, I think maybe you can see my screen. Okay, this is that blog post I was talking about, which I will put a link to in the comments. So these are super fun community building games, randomly fun games. I have a link to another blog post with just like my favorite randomly fun games. Okay, so here's my slideshow. And actually, a colleague of mine did something similar, and I kind of used her template. So, the first slide gives them directions. I feel like that's super important to be like, okay, here are 3 directions, simple, follow them, sit in your assigned seat. And then I have a couple of things for them to do while they're waiting for me to like be ready to introduce myself, because, there's a lot of stuff going on the first day, and they're all kind of confused and wondering what they're supposed to do. So having some sort of like really quick little thing for them to do so that they feel busy, and so that like right off the bat you have them following your directions is really important. So I have a white piece of paper on there. It's like a cardstock or construction paper on their desk, and I have my own, and they fold it into thirds and write their name in large letters on it so that I can see their name and I can call them by name. And so they can see each other's names. And then I have like a short little article or short little story. I got this excerpt from the Quick Write Handbook. It's an excerpt from, and I don't even know if I'm actually going to use this or not. There's so many great little excerpts in this Quick Write Handbook, and just like really great, poems about like being nervous, about middle school, about, coming back to school and how hard that is. And there's, just sharing some short little article and having them read it just as something for them to do when they first walk in, and you can always talk about it later. And then I just say, hi, everyone, I'm Mrs. Werner. I am your 8th grade English teacher. And I tell them, I am super into tech. I have a YouTube channel and a website, and I love technology, but technology can be addicting, and we have to all be careful about how much we're using it, because it's also important to spend quality time with the people that we love and care about. And so like right off the bat, I'm telling them about the things I care about. I love books for kids. They're my favorite. I read so many books from that are written for kids, and the reason is because I used to hate reading. When I was your age, I hated reading. I didn't read. I watched MTV. And so I'm just like, giving them a little glimpse of who I really am. I'm kind of funny. I say kind of shocking things. And I love writing, mostly writing informational articles for teachers. Writing fiction, that's a challenge for me, but I also know how fun writing fiction can be too. Okay, so I'm telling them about me, telling them about my family, and how much I love skiing and spending time with my husband. My daughter, she is starting kindergarten. This is like a super old picture of her. She's starting kindergarten the same day I start school, so I'm not going to be able to walk her to her classroom, but my husband is. I'm so sad about this. And so I'll talk about that. And then I have them talk about their names. And I ask them a few questions. And have them just think the answers. How did you get your name? Do you have a nickname? If you could change your name, what would you change it to? Does your name get mispronounced a lot? How do you feel about that? I just have them like think about these things, and maybe talk to someone next to them about these things, and maybe write. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I haven't decided like specifically. And every period I change things. Does anyone else do that? I learn a lot first period. Okay. And so just having them like, and telling them that you value their name. And I record my students' names. Probably not the first day, but the second or third day, I start to record their names after giving them some sort of fun, creative activity to do. If we have time the first day, I do that. So creative activities in terms of like decorate notebooks, do a one-pager. A teacher in this group was talking about doing a one-pager the first day. I was thinking about doing like a one-pager of like, show us like your summer on one page, your summer and your hobbies and things about you. So just some sort of creative activity while I go around recording their names with an app on my phone. And I talk about like how important it is to me that I don't mispronounce their name, and that's why I want to record their names. Okay, now here are the main. Now there's more than one frequently asked question in here, but I'm going to turn my camera and I'm going to share the slideshow with everyone, and you can edit it as you would like. I'm going to go back to me. Okay, so here are the 5 things that you need to teach your students. Like, what is your expectation, or what's the routine, or like, what do you expect students to do when they have to go to the bathroom? Like, that's number 1, because what if you're talking on and on and on and on, and a kid is like, I have to go to the bathroom and I don't know what to do. And you have a kid raise their hand and be like, can I go to the bathroom? And you're in the middle of some like really important point you're trying to make, so you really want to tell your kids like right off the bat, like, what do they do when they have to go to the bathroom, right? Like, that's the number 1 thing you should probably teach. The second thing is like your attention signal. Like, when kids are all talking to each other, how are you going to get their attention when you need their attention? And what do you expect when you do your attention signal? I like to keep it simple. Like, I've done the bells, I've done the classity class when I was teaching elementary. I got so sick of that by like the 4th week of doing that. Yes, it is. Everyone likes to do different things, but I really like to keep it simple. I just say like, everyone, I need your attention in 3, 2, 1. And then once I get to 0 and I'm standing there, I expect that they're silent, they put their pencils down, and they're looking at me. And I don't start talking. This is like the golden rule of teaching, and I'm sure all of you experienced teachers know this. Like, you do not talk until every single one of them is paying attention and not talking. And like, if there's 2 people like blah, 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 after I gave the attention signal, I'll go and stand next to them and like, I'll have a conversation with them later, but I'll like make sure that they know. And this usually doesn't happen the first day, because they're all like angels on the first day, which is good, right? Because it helps you develop that, like, you are the authority figure, and I tell my students that my job in this class is to make sure that we are productively learning and that everyone is feeling safe and happy in this class. Like, those are my 2 jobs, and I'm going to make sure I'm doing my job. And I say that when I introduce myself too. Okay, so attention signal, bathroom. Okay, those are 2. I'm going to do 5. Getting up, like, what are your expectations? Like, if kids need to get water or go get a tissue, you know what I mean? Like, there's my cat in the background. Getting up, like, what do you expect of students when it comes to, like, can they get up? Like, when can they get up? Sharpening a pencil. So getting up, bathroom, getting up, attention signal, water and food. What are you going to say about water and food? I don't let kids eat in my classroom. My classroom is not a snack bar and not a cafeteria, and I don't like picking up after people, and we have ants, and I scare them and tell them that we have rats too. So even though we don't, actually there have been mice at my school before. So, and then the last one, cell phones. What's your cell phone policy? Okay, so I think right off the bat, you should be talking about those 5 things the first day of school. I don't go over the syllabus, and I wait for another day. And what about like after the first day of school? So another thing that I like to do is I like to have a letter of introduction. So I will write a letter to my students, type it, print it, give them all copies, and then have them write me a letter about themselves. And I read it. I read every one. It's awesome because you get a taste of like their writing skills. You get to know them too. So like a letter of introduction is a good activity to do that first week of school. Some other people in the Facebook group mentioned speed dating books. I really want to do this year. And then also first week stations. So a really great way to like get a lot done in a little amount of time is do stations. So this is just like a first week of school kind of station activity, which is really cool too. So, you know, there's station number 8 is a class syllabus, and asking them to look at the class syllabus and answer some questions, creating a class contract, going over a whole bunch of class routines. So just doing kind of like a stations activity, but this doc, it doesn't include all the materials you would need for the station. So this is a little complicated, but I do think that, you know, you don't have to have all of this ready the first day of school. Like we all have our prep periods. You could get it ready another day and do it when you're ready. So I think, can you all see what I'm doing? I didn't share my screen. Let me share my screen so you can see my station, the stations I'm talking about. Okay, so here's the stations. So the first station is, and by the way, I did not create this. I do not sell this. This was created by a colleague of mine. So it's nothing fancy. It's just like, you know, inspiration. So station number 1 is your name. Pick up a what's in a name sheet, fill it out. When you are done, share your answers with a classmate or two. Place this sheet in your portfolio when you're done. I don't even remember what this was. I don't even remember what this was, honestly. Oh, I think it was like, what's your nickname? Do you have a nickname? And it was these questions in the slideshow about names. It was this kind of thing. So, then prior knowledge, like what prior knowledge do you have? Predict what you're going to learn in this class. Tack it to a board with an index card. What makes a good teacher, right? So getting their feedback about, well, what do you feel you need in order to learn the most you can this year and to be happy in this class. Cultural Mosaic is really cool. So this is like this pie chart, and it has all sorts of different pieces on it, like, you know, only child, multiple siblings, things like that. And they just put a dot if it applies to them. And then you can see like every single class and like all the dots and all the people who have the same thing in common with you. Is that Cultural Mosaic? That's the culture wheel, what I was just describing. The Cultural Mosaic is just writing down one cultural aspect of your family, like what traditions do you celebrate, what languages, ethnicities, races, celebrations, food, music, clothing. This should not be there. Yeah, so that's that. And then fabulous books. What is 1 or 2 books everyone should read? 5-word reason why everyone should read it. This is an awesome one for like, you know, kids getting ideas for books they want to read in your class. And then why do we write? So it's always really interesting to see what kids say. What's the purpose behind writing and what's your favorite genre of writing? And then a class syllabus, reading through it and talking about writing on a poster. A lot of these stations are just, you put a poster and the kids write on the poster and they can see. And then after the stations, the next day you can have them rotate around and look at what everyone wrote, which is really cool too. The class contract, I really love doing this activity because students, they write down what do they need from their classmates, the teacher, and themselves in order to be happy and successful in the class. And then I take what everyone wrote and kind of consolidate it into 5 to 10 things. And then we come back together as a class, we read them, And so this is like, I teach 5 different classes. And so I consolidate like what was repeated over and over and over again. And we kind of talk about, well, what does this look like? What does this sound like? Can we agree to this? And then once we've kind of agreed to it and edited and revised it, then I print it, have everyone sign it. And then I have a giant list of routines. And like I talk about the consequence sequence, what happens when they're not, meeting my expectations or following, read through the class expectations. See, this needs to be revised. Write down any questions you have on the poster with your name. So this is a cool activity to get a lot of things done in a short amount of time. Okay, I hope I haven't overwhelmed anyone. I meant for this to be super simple and straightforward, but maybe it overwhelmed you. I don't know. I think the main goal is to introduce yourself, make sure they know how they can go to the bathroom and what your attention signal is, and do something fun with them. That's it, right? So 3 things. Introduce yourself, teach the important routines or the frequently asked questions, the things they're wondering about your class the first day, and then do something fun. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. I hope that it was helpful. Feel free to write comments about things you're doing the first day of school, or how you're feeling about the first day of school, or any questions you have about the first day of school. And I'm going to put a link to my slideshow, and it'll just prompt you to make a copy of it. It's a Google slideshow, so you need Gmail. I'll put that in the comments, and then I'll also put my 5 fun activities to do the day after a long break, because that post is pretty awesome. It's fun. Okay. Bye everyone. Am I going to be here next? I might be changing the date of the broadcast. So I have been coming on every Thursday for a very, very long time now, but I might have a commitment after school on Thursdays when school starts. So I might be changing the date to either another time or another date. I don't know, but I will keep you all posted. Keep interacting in the group because our group is only as awesome as the members in it, right? Our group is only as helpful as the members that are in it. So thank you for watching the replay. Thank you for coming live, and I will see you sometime next week, and I'll definitely come on and tell you how my first day went. Okay, bye everyone.